Your daily dose of sports and fun. This is the Morning Drive Podcast from Double T 97.3, presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction.
I'm Mike Hebert, owner of Cantex Roofing and Construction. Every day is game day, and we'll get it right when it comes to your roofing, construction, windows, and mirrors. Call Cantex Roofing and Construction today. Together, we are one serving you.
Thoughts, comments, Yates Flooring Center chat line. Go to doublet973.com for that, or the mobile app. We got one early this morning. Good morning, gentlemen, from Mount Pleasant, Texas. Do you know where that is, Jamie? Is there?
Oh yeah. That's
Okay.
extreme East Texas.
Okay.
Been there. Been there. Called high school football games there.
Okay. Okay. They have a nice place for you to get something to eat before or after the game.
I don't remember, Chuck.
Doesn't ask about the team. Doesn't ask about the game. Doesn't ask about the call. Ask about the food.
Yeah, I don't. I bet you I didn't starve.
Okay.
Looking down at my waistline right now and feel like, yeah, I probably survived it. I bet they had a Dairy Queen or something that fit me just perfectly.
Yeah, I'm just curious.
Yeah.
The only Mount Pleasant that I'd heard of was the fictional one on the Andy Griffith Show. You know, they'd always Andy and Barn would always have to go over to Mount Pleasant for some kind of business. You know, in the
I wonder if
sheriff business.
They stole it from the city in Texas, just trying to add it to the mix.
Could be.
Yeah.
Could be. Well, Barney got to go over to Mount Pleasant. You watch the courthouse here. Tell Aunt B I'll be late for supper.
Okay.
All right. Are you a supper or dinner guy? Like when you ask the missus, hey, what's for supper, or is it what's for dinner?
I think I grew up as a little bit of a supper guy, but I think I'm a dinner guy now. And I don't know if that's just because my wife's a dinner girl, but I don't know. I think I used to say, I think I grew up saying supper.
Yeah, I think we did too. I think it was supper, and then somehow that transitioned to dinner at some point in time. Maybe in your highfalutin days, you got to be more dinner than you were supper.
Well, I'm still waiting for those highfalutin days, Chuck. So
they're Jamie, they're right around the corner for you. I didn't understand this. Maybe you guys can help me. This from the Yates Flooring Center chat line. Is this for football? Houston is taking a page out of TCU's book. Prices for the Tech game are twice as high as their tickets before and after. $150 for each for the Tech game. Is that the Tech Houston game that they're talking about for football?
I wouldn't. Well, that's a good question, Chuck. I would guess they were talking about basketball since we're leading into playing them in basketball on Saturday there. $150 seems obscene for a college basketball ticket, but maybe I'm wrong there. I don't know. 150 seems like not crazy for a college football ticket.
Right.
So, but I now that you mention it, I assumed they were talking about basketball, but I don't know.
Football.
Yeah, maybe.
Oh, hey, Jamie, I screwed up. It's Mount Pilot that was on Andy Griffith. So thanks you to a couple of texters. So it wasn't Mount Pleasant, Mount Pilot. I knew that didn't quite sound right when I said that. But hey, again, what's the supreme motto of this show? Not always accurate, not always fair. Just try to be entertaining. So it got people. It got the blood going for a couple of folks.
Okay, well, that's good to know people are listening.
Somebody says this, my favorite and only son-in-law is from Mount Pleasant. Great place.
Okay, cool.
Okay.
What would we do? I mean, this is a show that, I mean, some shows say that they're listener friendly and they allow them to chime in and be a part of the show. I mean, we actually allow them to help us get things right. I mean, it's just what we do for our audience.
Need them to help us get things right.
It's a service that we provide. We make you feel like you truly are important. Yeah. Because you truly are, to keep us on track.
There's no doubt.
Yeah. The texter was saying basketball. It is basketball.
It is basketball.
That's crazy.
It is crazy. I mean, they don't have that many seats there at the Fertitta Center. But,
well, I guess that's why they can charge so much. Supply and demand, all that good stuff. Again, like I said on the chat line when I responded, the interesting part is if it's if that's the case, if they're charging that much, you wonder if there's some of the Houston fans that want to go that are like, no, I'm not paying that much.
Yeah, or if they're just trying to, make some of their season ticket money because, frankly, before Kelvin Sampson came in there, I mean, they weren't doing much. I mean, they had at one point in time, but, of recent they hadn't. The Fertitta Center seats 7,100, Jamie.
Yeah, that's not very big.
No, it's not very big at all. So at any
I
rate.
guess in certain ways, though, that probably helps with their, because it's small, that it helps with the atmosphere when they pack it in there. Makes it a tough place to play.
Yeah, it was loud there, last Wednesday afternoon, mainly because the band. And Jamie, this is another thing that this is a big, huge difference between me and you, and you're just gonna shake your head at this. So at halftime last week of the Lady Raider game with Houston, I went by the band.
Requested a Beatles song?
No, I didn't. I said, man, I'm sure glad you guys are here because it just creates some energy because they were so loud and so good. And there was like, I don't know, maybe 100 people in the joint because, Houston had basically shut down because of the 3-inch snowstorm, which I get because they don't have snow plows and stuff like that. And they don't have a need for them except for every 76 years. But they were spirited. They were a spirited band. I complimented them on their pep and their playing. And then I went about my business. So they were happy to be there, happy to talk to me.
And I'm probably happy that you thanked them for being there.
Yeah, just acknowledge them. Just, didn't tell them to root for anybody or, hey, when we come up to the free throw line, don't do anything because we don't want to be bothered. But no, I didn't try to coach them up or anything, offer any kind of advice, any kind of song selection or anything along those lines. We'll have Lady Raider basketball tonight from Lawrence, from Allen Fieldhouse. The broadcast at 6, the tip at 6:30 on 107.7, the Red Dirt Rebel. Jamie, the big thing to watch for tonight is points off turnovers for KU and points in the paint for KU because when they win those two stats in Big 12 play, they've won their 3 games. And that's something that they do a pretty good job at. They get about 13 a game. They get about 28 in the paint a game. Texas Tech gives up 35 a game, and their opponents score about 21 a game. So you can't do that tonight against them. One thing that the Jayhawks don't do is they don't shoot a whole lot of threes. They average about 6. The Lady Raiders average about 8 in Big 12 play. So those might be a couple of numbers to look out for tonight. All right.
This is the Morning Drive Podcast from Double T 97.3, presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction.
Drive. Time for this day in sports history. Today is Wednesday, January the 29th, 2025. And with this day in sports history, here is Jeff McGuire.
It all started on today in 1936, guys. This was the beginning of the problem. The first players elected to the Major League Baseball Hall of Fame. Ty Cobb, Babe Ruth, Honus Wagner, Christy Mathewson, and Walter Johnson. Because Cy Young had to wait, we can't vote for Ichiro.
Jeff's making a good point.
Now, you know why they only had that first class that way? Because they had, 50 years of baseball to go through to get guys in after the first class?
So they wanted to spread it out a little bit?
Well, they didn't want to have a class of 30 in the first year.
Yeah, but it kind of watered it down a little bit.
Yeah. 1974. Ed Jones from Tennessee State is the first pick in the NFL draft by the Dallas Cowboys. He would earn the nickname Too Tall.
Okay.
And the story is that somebody claimed he was too tall to play, right? Mm-hmm. Like he wouldn't be good because he wouldn't have good leverage. He wouldn't be able to succeed because he was too tall.
And he said, I'll just be a beast instead.
Yeah. I think that's the story, or the story that I read. And that's how he got.
He was tall.
Yeah, no question. It's funny just to say Ed Jones. It
doesn't sound right.
Doesn't sound right.
Right. I was like, Ed Jones. Why is Jeff talking about that? And then you put in Too Tall, and I'm like, oh yeah, that's the guy.
1989, game-winning RBI official statistic dropped after 9 years in the Major League Baseball. New York Met Keith Hernandez is the all-time leader with 129.
But I think it's back, isn't it?
I don't think it's an official stat. I think it's a stat that people pay attention to, but I don't know that it's an official stat by baseball.
Why would they drop it?
I have no earthly idea.
Seems like a fair one, right?
Yeah, it's who had the winning hit. Who knocked in the
when you
winning
think
run.
about baseball, stats is that's like a staple, right?
Yeah, I don't know why. I mean, it can be in the ninth inning, it could be in the second inning.
Yeah.
You just don't know, but and maybe that's the point, that sometimes it's not as clutch as it's made out to be. You might have a sacrifice fly in the first
and win 1-0.
And like, game-winning RBI, he did a great job. Well, he just had a sac fly. But I don't know. It feels legit to me.
Yeah, it's clutch is clutch, whether it's the first inning or the ninth. I mean, the runs count the same, right?
Right. He got hit by a pitch with the bases loaded in the second. And
he wore one for the team to get the win, man. That one's earned.
Yeah.
The hard way.
Man, that was the highlight of my Little League career. I took a walk to force in the game-winning run for a playoff game. That was my highlight, Jamie,
Nice.
of my Little League career.
Nice.
So they're taking that away from me, I
Well,
guess.
you were disciplined. You didn't chase.
I didn't chase. I think I was afraid to swing.
You did a good job of separating balls and strikes, Chuck.
I did. It's that eagle eye, Jamie. That eagle eye.
2002, San Diego Chargers hire Marty Schottenheimer as their 13th head coach.
Yeah, it didn't go well. I think he got upside down with the owner. And then they lost a playoff game. They were 14-2. They had LaDainian and Tomlinson, and I don't know, they kind of just, faltered in the playoffs. But that's what Marty's teams did, unfortunately for him.
And in 2020, Davide Moretti scored a career-high 25 points with four threes, while Terrence Shannon Jr. added 23 points, and Jamias Ramsey added 21, as Texas Tech went on to an 89-81 win over number 12, West Virginia.
Wow.
3 players with 20 points.
Nice.
In one game.
And we beat Bob Huggins?
And we beat Bob Huggins.
Oh, that's a good day.
A top
That's a
12
good day.
Bob Huggins.
Good day.
Was that game in Lubbock?
I do not know.
I remember being at one of those, and Bob would go into those post-game press conferences, and the West Virginia media would just cower there on the front row, and you could hear their knees shaking because they were knocking against each other, and then they would ask the question, so softly, and then Coach Huggins would speak even softer. It's like, hey, a little louder for those of us in the back, but no, nobody said that.
Happy National Corn Chip Day.
No, thank you.
No, thank you.
Corn chips? They
Like
smell-
Fritos?
Yes.
They can have a smell.
Yeah. I'm not
That
saying
doesn't mean they're bad. They
I'm not
just
saying they taste terrible, but I don't think they taste great, but
So
your breath.
if you and I were ever to go on a road trip again together and you were driving, corn chips would be banned?
I think that's pretty much
That's universal.
Universal.
unless you're going solo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because then you're getting the corn chips, so it's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Happy birthday, Oprah Winfrey is 71. Adam Lambert is 43. Tom Selleck, 80. Heather Graham, 55. Sarah Gilbert, 50. Andre Reed, 61.
All right.
Jose Abreu, 38. And Steve Sachs is 65. And on this day in 1809, once upon a midnight jury, while I pondered weak and weary over many a quaint and curious volume of forgotten lore, Edgar Allan Poe's famous poem, The Raven, is published on this day on the New York Evening Mirror. And that,
All right.
this day sports history.
This day in sports history. Thank you, Jeff.
That's funny because when I was watching the pregame to the Ravens and Bills 2 weeks ago, somebody claimed that I feel like it was Gronk Somebody on one of those pregame shows claimed that it was published on that day, and that's why he was picking the Ravens.
Today. Well, it may have been written then and then published today.
Maybe
something there's a possibility of that.
Maybe something like that.
But yeah, today on the Mirror, which is when everybody else got to read it. Maybe
he just took poetic license with the facts.
Yeah, close enough, right?
Yeah.
It's creative.
I mean, Morning Drive, poetic license, Those guys in Lubbock, they kind of, don't let the facts get in the way of a good story, so why should we, right? Mm-hmm. Dallas writes in, corn chips are also tortilla chips, corn tortillas. I think there's a difference between the tortilla chip and a true corn chip, like the Frito.
Yes.
I
would agree with that.
Okay. I want to get more of your thoughts on this, but the announcement of Tech baseball play in Oklahoma, no April Fool's joke, right, Jamie? They are going to play that game in Frisco on April 1st, right?
Yeah, I mean it's been on the schedule this whole time. The only thing that was announced yesterday was just the start time. So,
okay. I guess I hadn't thoroughly analyzed the baseball schedule yet, so my apologies.
When will that happen, Chuck?
I'm getting ready to start doing that actually, because you're getting ready to leave us for a period of time, and so I need to be brushing up on my Tech baseball.
Thoroughly analyze. Yeah, I'm super excited that they're playing again. Obviously, it's a good non-conference game. It's I would love for that to be home and home, but it's in Frisco, and so plenty of Red Raider fans in the Metroplex will show up, and plenty of Oklahoma fans from the Metroplex will show up, and good matchup with an SEC team. So it's one of the very few games that the SEC will play against the Big 12 this year.
The Morning Drive podcast from Double T 97.3 is presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction.
Jamie Lent and Jeff McGuire. My name is Chuck Heinz, and it's great to have you with us this morning here on Double T 97.3 and Double T 97.3.com. Okay. This from the Yates Flooring Center chat line, Jamie. There is an actual court case going on right now about phones listening to people without the user knowing. Okay?
Oh, really? So somebody's probably unhappy about that, I would assume.
Yeah. Jordan writes in, it does listen to you, Chuck. Your phone has something encrypted called Always On Listening, which helps your virtual assistant in virtual apps that have search bars predict what you're looking for. Wow.
That's crazy. Technology is just amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is crazy. So what would you think tonight for a score, Jamie? TCU in Big 12 play this year has only been above 75 once. That was their opening game. They lost 90-81. They've been above 70 twice. Both of those were wins. A win over BYU, 71-67, and a win at Baylor, 74-71.
Yeah.
The Red Raiders keep them in the 60s tonight.
That's kind of probably what I was thinking, Chuck. I was thinking like a 75-64, 75-66, something like that.
Okay. They don't turn it over a whole lot, about 11 times a game. Their opponent right there, same number, 87 in Big 12 play for both TCU and their opponents, so 11 a game. They don't get to the free throw line a whole lot. They average 10 made free throws a game. Their opponents 12. Opponents have been to the free throw line more and have 17 more made free throws than TCU. They're not good free throw shooter. They're a 62% free throw shooting team. Jamie, you need to work with those guys. Maybe Coach Dixon can call over a fellow Jamie and go, hey, can you give me some tips for our guys?
Hey, that's probably not smart for them.
And how about this from beyond the arc? 29% in Big 12 play, 47 of 162. And I think that's something that the Red Raiders have done a good job of, in terms of that three-point defense. Tech opponents are shooting 28% from beyond the arc, about make about 6 a game. You make about 8 a game. So those are good numbers.
Yeah, absolutely. I feel, again, going back to what I said earlier, I just feel like your perimeter defense was really rough in that game against UCF, and it just feels like that's been a big area of focus since then for Coach McCaslin's team.
All right. Well, I bet he's got him coached up tonight to work on that. Don't know if I'm sure you saw this. Just to switch gears, thoughts on Graham Harrell going to Abilene Christian and being their offensive coordinator, Jamie?
Yeah, I mean, I love that he's back in West Texas or whatever. I'm sure Graham would like to get back to a little bit higher level, but at the same time, he's probably feels like this is a good opportunity for him, and hopefully this is kind of a springboard for him to get another chance somewhere else. But hopefully it goes well there at ACU.
I mean, they had a really good year last year. Hell, damn near beat us. I'm glad he wasn't there. He probably would have dialed up something different for that 2-point conversion, or, help Maverick McIver figure out a way to make that play work. But they're excited about having him. Keith Patterson says this about Graham Harrell. Of course, he used to be the DC at Texas Tech. He's on the Mount Rushmore of Texas Tech football. When the news that we had hired him leaked out last week, I got phone calls from a wide range of people from Lubbock and Oklahoma to high school and college coaches who were excited about him being here. That gave me a small peek into this great opportunity for our program and university. Is that correct? Mount Rushmore of Texas Tech football?
It depends how many people are on the Rushmore.
Well, only 4 get to be on there because that's how many boys are on the hill there in South Dakota.
I probably wouldn't put him there, but he's not too far behind it. I don't know that I'm going to feel like Coach Patterson's, way off base or anything like that.
Yeah. Do you have a Pat 4 that you always go with?
No, I really don't. I mean, it just depends on which era you watched or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, my era of Red Raider fandom from mid-90s to now would include, probably all offensive players. And Harrell might be on that list. Kingsbury, Mahomes. Yeah. Harrell and Crabtree. Yeah. Okay.
No. See, I think this is going to sound, if you just took Patrick's Texas Tech stats, I know they were really good, but man, for me, Graham's got to be there, Welker's got to be there, Crabtree may be there, 2 Biletnikovs get you there, and then Zach Thomas for my fandom from the early 90s to today.
Okay.
That's not a bad 4, is it?
No, it's a great 4.
Yeah, it's not a bad 4. Let's see. Somebody says this line is 13.5 tonight. We struggle to cover pretty consistently. That's not something I follow.
Isn't that more of the gambler's fault than it is Tech's? That they looked at us too much and thought we were going to win by too much and set the number too high? I just worry about them winning the game.
I'm with you, Jeff.
We play to win the game.
Yeah, I enjoy knowing the line just because I want to know what the prediction is.
Sure.
But once the game starts, I never think about it ever again.
Yeah, I'm with you on that, Jamie. Yeah, I'm with you on that. I'm not a big that was a bad beat. We don't really talk about bad beats on this show. I mean, every once in a while, if it's a really, really bad beat, we might, but generally speaking, we're not doing the Scott Van Pelt bad beat. Oh, look at this, Okay, so do you want to take a wild guess what the matchup predictor is, or do you know for tonight with what ESPN says versus TCU?
I would say they have Texas Tech at 79%.
85.9.
Oh, man. Okay.
Okay.
It's good.
85.9. I mean, their leading guy, Noah Reynolds, he's number 21 in your program tonight, ladies and gentlemen. 12.3 points a ball game. He shoots about a 45% field goal number. So they're not prolific, but they can be pesky. Hey, another guy who made a little bit of news yesterday from a former Red Raider standpoint, Cliff Kingsbury apparently has taken himself out of the running to be the Saints' new head coach. That job's probably going to go to Kellen Moore. The Commanders reportedly are going to keep Coach Kingsbury in that offensive coordinator role. He's opted to stay there and against interviews. So I think that's a good move for him. Get another year under his belt there in D.C. and see what he can do to take them to a Super Bowl, because they got to the NFC Championship game. That's the next step.
Your daily dose of sports and fun. This is the Morning Drive Podcast from Double T 97.3. Presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction. Jamie's question of the day on Double T 97.3 is brought to you by Connecticut of West Texas.
All right, guys. Today we are talking postseason expectations for your Red Raider basketball team. And I want you to try to remember back to what you felt like your expectations were before the season started, before Big 12 play started, and now where they are. How much, if any, have they changed?
Oh, goodness. I think I was a Sweet 16 guy at some point in time, whether it was I think that was before the season. I think I downgraded that a little bit, but I'm a Sweet 16 guy right now, Jamie. I think this team is good enough to be better than the 8th seed that some have given them. Some of them give them a higher seed than that. I think your seeding has potential to grow as long as you can stay healthy. So I'm going to say you're a team that plays for the right to get to the Elite 8, which means you're going to win 2 games in the tournament.
Okay.
Mine's more about where that seeding would be, and we kind of talked about this a little bit yesterday. When I think of a Sweet 16 type team, that's being anywhere in the bracket between a 4 and a 7 seed, 6 seed kind of range, that you've got a legitimate shot to make a Sweet 16 at that point. I think I was on the lower end of that scale at the beginning of the year, somewhere between a 6, 5 or a 6. I think you're squarely in the 4 range and working your way up. Still Sweet 16 bracket, I guess is the way to put it, but a much higher chance in moving up to improve on that lie.
Okay, so heading into the season for me, I still think I had enough confidence in what you had coming back and then the quality of player that you added, specifically with Toppin and Hawkins, to think that you were, without a doubt, a postseason team, and at least, that this team will be, a top 8 seed at the worst, and should be able to get a favorable first-round matchup and get to the second round of the NCAA tournament. I think at this point I have upped that at least 1 game. So I'm ultimately slotting in right where you guys are and feeling like, yeah, this is a team that should get to the second weekend of the NCAA tournament. And then, what happens there will you just, the matchups depend. It depends so much on the matchups and all that good stuff. But I do feel like that you're talented enough, kind of playing off of Jeff here a little bit, to be a seed that's going to get you a really good chance to win 2 games and get to the Sweet 16. Now, I'm not saying that I think the Sweet 16 is the ceiling for this team. I think we're going to find out over the next month of how really good this team is as the schedule and Big 12 play gets a little bit tougher. But I think you're definitely feeling like there's the potential to feel like you could be better than just a Sweet 16 team, and that's definitely not where I was at the beginning of the year.
Okay. If you have a thought or an opinion on that, hit us up on the Yates Flooring Center chat line. Joe Lenardi who made his latest bracketology yesterday at 9 o'clock our time. He has Texas Tech now, Jamie, up to a 6 seed, and that is rising. Okay, so that's a step in the old right direction. Because I told you, I think on Monday, that Jerry Palm had Tech as an 8 seed, and then playing in an 8-9 game with the winner potentially playing Auburn, which was the number 1 overall seed. So this would be in the Providence bracket, and he has him playing the 11 seed VCU, and the winner of that game plays the winner of the 3 seed Michigan State versus Jacksonville State. I mean, I'd love to stay out of that. I mean, of course, anybody would stay out of that 8-9 seed just because of
it matches you up with a possible number 1 in the second round.
Yep. Exactly. So, and you got to beat tough teams at some point in time. But if you could get to a 5 seed, then you play the winner of a 4-13. So, if you get to
and it feels like like you are quickly moving in on a 5 seed.
Yeah, with some wins, absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely. But
again, let's visit this again after the next 4 games, after that stretch that you start on Saturday with on the road at Houston, home against Baylor, on the road at Arizona.
Yeah, so can I ask you, I don't think this is a stupid question, but I mean, it could be perceived as one. Does anybody other than Houston at this point where you sit right now scare you to match up against or to play?
In the Big 12?
Yep.
Scare me as like, I think they can beat us?
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, just go up and down the sky. I mean, I think Baylor's talented. I know they haven't played great, but I think they could beat us. I mean, if we have to play Iowa State in the Big 12 tournament, they would scare me. I mean, okay. West Virginia has shown that they can beat really good teams this year, so they scare me. Okay. Arizona on the road, they scare me. Who doesn't scare you? I'm not saying that those teams are better than us. I'm just saying that on any given night, I think those teams can beat us.
Yeah, but I mean, I guess what I meant by my question was when I look at who you have left, I don't know that you're like there's an exponential big step, with maybe the exception of Houston, between you and them with regard to level of talent. In other words,
yeah, okay, that's fair. That's
I think
fair.
You can play with all these teams.
Correct. But that doesn't mean that I'm not scared of them.
Yeah, maybe that wasn't the right word to use there. But anyway, I guess my point is, I agree with you that I think you still have a lot of room to move up. Now, you can slide down too, right? Because, if you don't take care of business and you lose some games, but you're going to have to win some road games like at Arizona, at TCU, potentially winning at Kansas, winning at Arizona State, winning some road games. That would be really helpful to your NCAA tournament chances. All right.
The Morning Drive podcast from Double T 97.3 is presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction.
Double T 97.3.com with Jamie Lent, Jeff McGuire. I'm Chuck Heinz. We come to you from the First United Bank studio. Look forward to hearing from you on the Yates Flooring Center chat line. Go to Double T 97.3.com for that on the mobile app. Visual Edge IT hotline is open too at 806-771-0973. A number of folks weighed in on the Mike McCarthy stuff. So many stories of lottery winners going broke within a couple of years. Yep. And Jamie pointing out that he's been making multiple millions for nearly 10 straight years. Feels a little different. Yeah, I'd agree with that. But still, you never know. You haven't put your shekels away properly, then could be he could be doing some DoorDash, Jamie. Driving Uber. You never know.
You never know.
That'd be pretty weird, wouldn't it?
Getting an Uber and it's Mike McCarthy.
Mike in a in a Lexus or a Armada or a
Well, I imagine if he's doing that, he's not driving a Lexus. It's
probably something else.
Yugo or something, right?
Yeah, something. A big tricked out.
No offense to those of you out there driving Yugos.
Yeah, not driving a Yugo.
Do they even exist anymore?
Actually, if you're still driving a Yugo, I'm a little impressed with your mechanic skills. Okay. A little impressed.
And your ability to take care of things.
Yeah.
Let's see. Here from the info for tonight. Texas Tech 15-4, 6-2 in the Big 12. 4-game winning streak off to their best 8-game start to Big 12 play since 2005. That's impressive. 10-2 at home after winning on Sunday. They're rolling, Jamie. The Red Raiders are rolling. Tonight they take on TCU, a team that's 10-9, 3-5. They're on a 2-game losing skid, losing to Kansas and UCF after they had won at Baylor by 3. Red Raiders looking to have a big crowd tonight. It's what are they calling it? A Raider Power Night. So you got on the north end, it's red. At midcourt, there's a stripe that's white, and then on the south end, it's black. So like we sit at the south end. If we were going tonight, we'd be wearing black. Okay, so our seats are in 218.
I think it's really cool.
I do.
I can't help but think that they could have called it Bomb Pop Night too. Just with red, white, and black instead of red, white, and blue.
I think if they'd have called it Bomb Pop Night, they would have feared that Clint Scott would
show up. They would have
show
sold out immediately.
And that he would have been wondering where the bomb pops were, because isn't he a bomb pop guy in the press box for football games? That's
only
why he
when
goes
we
to the
need
games.
help.
Everybody's a bomb pop guy, so I mean that place would have sold out in a heartbeat.
Like when the Ding Dong Man, that's what we called the ice cream. We called him the Ding Dong Man because ding dong, ding dong, ding. That's what we called him.
Did you ever have that nickname?
Did I ever have the nickname Ding Dong?
No.
Man, I'm just asking. I don't just asking for a friend.
No.
Okay.
Never did. So if you're in section 113, 101, 201, or 217, you wear white. North of that, you wear red. South of that, you wear black. I think it's going to look really cool tonight.
I agree.
I hope it's a big crowd. I hope the townies show up because the students have shown up. Students were there Sunday. I got to tell you, I was disappointed in the townies. I still thought it was loud, but I think it could be more imposing.
Hey, can I offer?
That's what I'm looking for tonight.
Can I offer a little bit of advice to you, Chuck?
Sure.
Like for your word efficiency, so you have, because you had told us before that you believe that like there's a certain amount that you have before you die.
Yeah.
Right? Okay, so I'm going to help you out here. Okay? I don't think you need to tell us before every game that you hope it's a big crowd, because there's never a time where you hope it's a small crowd, right?
Sure. Yeah, it's true.
Yeah. We all want it to be packed every single game, especially Tech Athletics, so they can make more money, and especially Coach McCaslin, so he can have a great atmosphere. There's never a time where we're like, well, you know what, Baylor's coming to town. I hope really nobody shows up for that game. I feel like that's pretty much a given, right? We always want it to be packed.
Yeah, I'm a volume shooter when it comes to words, though, as you know, Jamie, but you're right.
But we don't want you to die early. We want you to have some words left.
Although,
I appreciate that.
By Jamie explaining that to Chuck, didn't Chuck just basically try to kill Jamie?
Yeah, I just expired myself early.
Yeah.
Yes, I probably did.
Thanks,
I don't
Chuck.
know. Jamie could
Murderer.
look with the words that he uses. I mean, he'll be 120.
Yeah, I do feel like I've done a good job saving up.
Yeah,
probably better than Mike McCarthy, probably.
I think even God would say, Jamie, I know you got words left in the meter, but man, I got I got to pull the string on you at 120 because, you're not going to outlive Moses.
There's been way too much Mountain Dew go through this body for me to live to 120.
You've had 4 guys get 8 starts in Big 12 play. Excuse me, 5 guys. All 5 guys have gotten all the starts. JT Toppin, Chance McMillan, Darion Williams, Elijah Hawkins, and Kerwin Walton. They've all started all 8 games of the Big 12. I think that's going to end tonight with Darion Williams, don't you?
I think there's.
Do you have that sense?
I do. I'm with you on that. I feel like just hearing from Coach McCaslin yesterday, it made me think that he's going to allow him to sit this one out.
Okay, so let's just say Darion Williams doesn't play tonight. Who has to step up for the Red Raiders?
Well, all the usual suspects. I don't think it's anybody different. You just need McMillan to be a little bit better. You need Toppin to be a little bit better. You need, Hawkins and Federico and Anderson. I don't think it's, maybe we're going to see, I don't know if Coach McCaslin's going to elect to play Federico more and go bigger, or if he would go with a smaller lineup and get more shooters on the court. It's all depends on what he feels about the matchup. But I just feel like it's the usual suspects just need to do their job and maybe do it just a little bit better. Don't try to do too much.
I wonder who gets the start, because Darion Williams has started all 19 games. So is Chance McMillan. So is Kerwin Walton. So is this maybe a Kevin Overton opportunity, Christian Anderson opportunity? We'll speculate.
I would guess Overton over Anderson.
This has been the Morning Drive Podcast, presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction. Check out our library of Double T 97.3 podcasts at doublet97.3.com.